Imagine a man who could make children laugh, perform magic tricks, and bring joy to families. A clown who everyone trusted. But what if I told you that behind that painted smile was a monster? A monster who lured innocent boys into his home, locked them in a game they could never escape, and buried their bodies just beneath his own floorboards. This isn't a horror movie. This is real. This is the terrifying story of John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown. A smiling face, a colorful costume, a clown who brought laughter to children's parties. But behind the painted smile was a darkness so horrifying, it would shock America. This is the story of John Wayne Gacy, a man who lived a double life as a respected community member, and one of the most notorious serial killers in history. Early life. John Wayne Gacy was born March 17, 1942, in Chicago, Illinois. He was the second of 3 children in a working-class family. His father, John Stanley Gacy, was an alcoholic and physically abusive, while his mother, Marion, tried to protect her children but struggled against her husband's violence. Gacy grew up feeling weak, unwanted, and desperate for approval. He suffered from health problems, including a heart condition, which made him an outcast during his school years. Despite this, Gacy developed a strong charm and charisma, traits that would later help him gain trust from victims. Behind the weakness and insecurity, John learned something important: how to hide his pain and how to manipulate others. Young adulthood and first crimes. In his early 20s, Gacy tried to escape his troubled family life. He married, moved to Iowa, and worked in fast food management. But soon, his dark urges began to show. He was accused of sexually assaulting teenage boys. In 1968, he was convicted of sodomy and sentenced to 10 years in prison. His wife divorced him, and his family cut ties. Yet, Gacy was released on parole after serving only 18 months. To everyone else, he seemed like a man who had turned his life around. But in reality, this was just the beginning. The double life. Back in Chicago, Gacy rebuilt his image. He became a successful building contractor, employing young men in his business. He remarried, bought a house in the suburbs, and became involved in local community organizations. He even entertained children as Pogo the Clown, performing at parties and hospitals. To neighbors and friends, Gacy was generous, funny, and trustworthy. But beneath the surface, he lived a secret life, one of manipulation, predation, and unimaginable cruelty. The clown costume was more than just entertainment. It was a mask, hiding the monster underneath. The killings begin between 1972 and 1978. Gacy lured dozens of young men and boys to his home. He often promised them jobs, money, or simply invited them to hang out. Once inside, he would perform a sinister trick, showing them his handcuff game. Gacy would pretend to demonstrate how to escape from handcuffs. Once his victims' hands were bound, they were trapped. What followed was torture, sexual assault, and murder. He strangled many victims with a rope, tightening it with a stick, a method he chillingly called his rope trick. The house of horrors. Gacy buried many of his victims in the crawl space beneath his home. Over time, the stench became unbearable. Visitors noticed it, but Gacy blamed it on plumbing problems. As his body count grew, he ran out of room in the crawl space and began dumping bodies in rivers. Despite multiple run-ins with police, Gacy's charm and reputation kept suspicion low. To his neighbors, he was still the friendly clown. But beneath his house, a graveyard was growing. Suspicion and investigation. Gacy's downfall began in December 1978, when 15-year-old Robert Piest went missing after telling friends he was going to meet Gacy about a job. Investigators quickly connected Gacy to the disappearance. A search of his home revealed personal items belonging to missing boys. Police kept surveillance on Gacy, who grew increasingly erratic. He even invited officers to eat with him, bragging he was smarter than the law. Finally, with enough evidence, police obtained a warrant to search his home thoroughly. The shocking discovery in the crawl space beneath his house. Investigators made a chilling discovery: human remains. As they dug further, more and more bodies were found. Ultimately, 29 bodies were recovered from Gacy's property, with additional victims discovered in rivers nearby. In total, John Wayne Gacy was convicted of murdering 33 young men and boys, one of the highest confirmed victim counts of any American killer. The friendly clown had been hiding a mass grave beneath his home. Trial and execution. Gacy was arrested and charged with multiple counts of murder. At his trial, he attempted an insanity defense, claiming he had multiple personalities, including Pogo the Clown. The jury rejected this defense, and in 1980, Gacy was convicted of 33 murders. He was sentenced to death. After years on death row, John Wayne Gacy was executed by lethal injection on May 10, 1994. His final words were chilling: "Kiss my ass." Legacy. John Wayne Gacy's crimes horrified the world, not only for their brutality, but for the mask he wore in public. He became known as the Killer Clown, a man who brought joy by day and committed unspeakable crimes by night. His case left an enduring mark on American culture, a reminder that evil can hide behind even the friendliest smile. And so, behind the painted grin of Pogo the Clown, history uncovered one of its darkest monsters. If you found this story chilling, subscribe to History's Dark Secrets for more true crime mysteries. Step into the shadows with us as we continue to uncover the world's darkest secrets.